Hi everybody, and welcome to today's webinar on augmented reality in wireless design. Today we're going to take a look and discuss the new AR beta features that was just released into iBwave Wi-Fi Mobile. First, just to introduce myself and my co-host, my name is Kelly and I work in marketing at iBwave, and my co-host today is Jamel. He is a sales engineer and product owner of the iBwave Wi-Fi suite at iBwave, and we're going to be your host today talking about AR, and Jamel's going to give you the demo of the feature. Before we get started, I just wanted to go over some housekeeping items. So those of you who have attended previous iBwave webinars, you may notice that we are trying out a new webinar platform. And our hope is that it's a little bit more interactive and gives you an opportunity to chat with us and amongst each other as the webinar goes. So looking at your screen, you'll see that you have a chat tab there. This is where you can say hi to both us and to everybody and have a running conversation throughout the webinar to give us your thoughts on the content and our feedback. So I see some people are saying hi now. Thank you. So feel free to introduce yourselves and say hi to everyone, and let's keep the conversation going throughout the webinar. You'll notice another tab, which is called questions, and we're going to ask if you have any specific questions about what we're showing, that you use that tab, or else the questions might get lost into the ongoing chat. So if you ask your questions in the questions tab, we'll be sure to get them, and those are private, so everybody won't see those. We are going to share a few polls throughout the webinar. And that is because we really want your feedback on these AR features. You know, they're somewhat experimental, they're still in beta. Yes, we've released them to our customers, but part of that is we want to know if they're valuable. So we're going to send you guys out some polls and you can give us our feedback, and hopefully we'll have a running conversation through this webinar on what else we can do with AR and if we're heading in the right direction. Recording will be sent out afterwards. Immediately afterwards, you should get a link, and within that same email, you'll get a free trial to the mobile app so that you guys can try out these AR features as well. I'll also send a link in the chat, and there's a pop-up I can send that'll give you a link at the end of the webinar as well. Keep in mind that to use the AR features, you do need an Android device that has the AR core support. I will warn you that some are better than others. We know that the Pixel phone is a really good one to use, for example. All right, so with that, I see lots of people are saying hello, so we're off to a good interactive start. Thank you everyone for that. Let's keep it going. Before we start with the features, I'm just going to take 2 minutes to talk about, you know, how design has evolved over the years, and in particular, the visualization of design. So starting way back, some of you probably remember the good old coffee cup design, where it was just the antenna contour. There was no antenna patterns. There wasn't any interaction between the APs being considered. And then in 2003, when iBwave started up, we started out with a 2D design, which brought in more prediction heat maps that showed the interaction. And this aligned with the greater demand for higher quality networks. As more wireless evolved indoors, we needed to understand and to simulate better. And of course, in 2008 is when we came out with the 3D modeling. So I'm sure many of you have seen and also produced some pretty impressive 3D models. I know many of our customers do really impressive work on the 3D modeling side, which is a really great visualization tool. And since then, we have not taken our visualizations to the next level, which is why we are where we are. And we're looking at, you know, how can we do that? What's the next level of visualization? Which, of course, brings us to the topic of today, which is augmented reality, right? So at iBwave, I would say we've been looking at augmented reality for the last couple of years. The technology was not always there to make it a broader release. Not a lot of devices supported AR. And it was a newer technology, but of course now a lot of devices are support it better, and it's becoming more and more of a possibility to release out to our customers. And that's really what we're here to discuss today. For those of you not familiar with iBwave Wi-Fi Mobile, just a really quick overview to give you some context around what we're going to look at today. iBwave Wi-Fi Mobile is our cloud-connected mobile app that allows you to do your survey and design work on your Android phone or tablet. It can act standalone, or it can act as a companion to our more powerful iBwave Wi-Fi PC, which involves the 3D modeling and the more accurate fast ray tracing. So on the mobile app, you can collect your survey data, you can capture all your site images and videos, you can do your network design right on site, you can run and view your heat maps, as well as generate a simple bill of materials and reports, all from just your mobile app. And now, as of last week, we've added in these augmented reality features. They are just beta, which means they're there if our customers want to try them, and they're completely optional to use. But again, we released them with the idea of we really want some feedback on these. So to give you just an overview of the features that we've added, and then Jamal's going to demo these to you very shortly. So we implemented 3 features. The first one being the survey data, right? So the ability to visualize your survey data that you've collected in augmented reality while you're in the building. This might be helpful to show the building owner. This could be helpful to yourself. It just gives you a really strong visual of what's the existing coverage in the building that you're working on. The second use case that we looked at and we built out a feature for are the prediction heat maps. Right now, we have just the signal strength heat map because we want to assess value, but there's a possibility of adding more in the future for sure. So once you've done your design and you go on site, is there value in viewing the RSSI heat map in augmented reality? And the last one is equipment location. So this would be used more when you're out validating your design. So you're on site and you have your floor plan and design on the tablet in front of you, and you're walking, and then you want to compare, what you designed versus what was actually installed by the installation team. So it would give you an idea of, was it an accurate installation? It could also help in troubleshooting scenarios. There's different ways that each of these can be used. But these are the 3 use cases we started out with features, and what Jamal is actually going to demo now. So Jamal, over to you.
Thank you, Kelly. Hello, everyone. Thanks for being here. I'm excited to show you what we have with this AR mode in the Wi-Fi mobile app. There was some question if it will be available on other apps for mobile node. We haven't implemented yet because mobile node does not have heat maps, but mobile planner, that's a possibility. There will be some change in the future in the mobile node, so stay tuned. We're going to announce new things that are coming in the mobile, and you will see that. So let's start. Let me just share my screen here. Okay, so let's use a use case scenario where I have my mobile app, the Wi-Fi app, and I have to go to do a high-level design. I'm going to a site, to a customer, go there, need to put some APs, and generate a heat map, and then show to the customer, this is what we're planning to do, this is what the coverage will look like. So typical scenario, you go there, create a project, right? You have nothing, you just have the address. You go on site, let's name it AR demo. And usually when you go on site, ideally you would have the floor plan beforehand, you model your building, but we know that most of the case you don't have that. So, but you might find like a fire exit plan or something. So you could create a floor plan either by selecting the picture if you have it, or taking a picture, or creating a plan from scratch, just sketching up something. I think most use case scenario would be that there will be like a fire exit plan, so you take a picture. And I printed our floor plan from the iBwave office. I'm just going to take a picture here of our, okay. Why it's, shouldn't turn, anyway. So if I take a picture like this, and then I can crop it, and then use that picture, and then scale it. I take a door, scale it with like 1 meter or like 3 feet, or maybe I know what's the length of this side of the building. So I know this one is about 90 meter. This is our office. And then what I need to do is to define a prediction area, right? So I go to prediction area here, and then I click on the four corner of the floor plan. And this is my prediction area. Now you see by default, it's open space. I could change that by clicking on the side, one of the lines of the area, and change the prediction area to, let's say, medium RF environment, which is equal mix of cubicles and individual offices, typical office. Now we could hide that, the ruler, the zone, and start doing my design, right? So I could go to design and start putting some APs. Let's say I'm just going to use a generic Wi-Fi access point, set the height, the frequency, change the power maybe if I'm transmitting, let's say, I don't know, 10 dBm for 2.4, and let's say 15 for 5 gigahertz. Then I select, put, let's say, one AP in every area, somewhere here, right? And then maybe here, and then here. And once I'm done, I could run the prediction, and it's showing me my coverage for 2.4 and my coverage for 5 gigahertz. This is high level, right? So it's telling me that I'm not meeting my next 65. I'm only 37%, so I might need more access point, right? At the end, once I'm done with my high level design, what I need to do is to show to the customer. So before, you would only be able to show something like this, right? You saw the heat map. This is the coverage we're planning. This is what it's going to look like. But now we have this new module that you see that new tab on the right corner. We have this AR mode, and you have two options, output map or auto nav. And when you click on output map or auto nav, it will launch this AR module, and it will ask you to calibrate. Since I'm not at the office, I would not be able to calibrate that. I did record a video at the office using the app. So basically, here's my design. I'm on the AR mode, and I click on output map. So if I click on the output map, the module will launch, which is the augmented reality module, and it will ask me to calibrate my position. I have two options. I have standard, which is the more accurate one. You would need to measure two corners of a room. Or you have the quick measurement, which is just take one corner and define a direction your phone or your tablet is pointing to, and it will start tracking your position. So in this example, let's do the second one, which is the quickest one. And it will only ask you to identify a floor. So it will, when you see this grid, meaning it's identifying the floor. So you lock in on the floor, and then you click next. Once you click next, it will ask you to identify your position. So in this example, I was at the lobby, just right at the entrance here. So I define my position here. And once I click next, it will ask me which direction I'm pointing at. So I was pointing to like this sofa here. And then I just click on track and finish. And now it will start tracking me. As I move and I walk, it will follow me. And then if I want to see the heat map, just go back for a second here. You have this button here to start reviewing the heat map. So when I click on it, it will go into AR mode. So now it's showing me my camera, and it's showing me that the previous heat map I was on the mobile app I was showing was the 5 gigahertz RSSI, and then it's showing me like range every whatever 1 meter, 2 meters. So we're gonna see how to define that. So now if I go to the let's go back a little bit here. If I go to the options, I will be able to define the different parameters. So if I go to the AR mode, I have like an option button. See this option button here? All right, on the bottom down. This is where you define the different parameters. So I click on it, and I have this this view where I see wave modes. So there's 3 different types. You see the amplitude, you see the range. So this is every 3 meters. And so you see those circles is the range. What is every 3 meters? And then you see the other options. So I'm going to walk you through that. So I go to the filter mode, and I'm going to switch from, let me just play here, from focus on high signal level to low signal level. What does this mean is that high signal level meaning show me only signal that is higher than neg 40. Then it was not showing anything. If I switch to low signal level, show me all signals that are lower than neg 40. Now it's showing me the signal level. So this was my prediction, and I could see how far this is the threshold. Anything that is higher than neg 40, or sorry, lower than neg 40, and this is how far I could see. So the view depth. So this is 50 meters. I could see as far as 50 meters away. And this is basically my heat map, and I could see it in AR mode. And since it's focusing on low signal, you would see that the low signal is a little bit higher in terms of waves than the high signal. And if you want to invert that, so you would see here, I go back to the appearance, and I could change the amplitude, how high I want the waves. I could change the range, like every 3 meters or every 2 meters or every 1 meter, I want to see those circles. And I can change the opacity. I can make it more transparent, the waves, or more opaque. And I could also remove the grid. You see those square here? If I turn off the grid, it will be removed, and I only see the waves. So here, if I play with the different view mode, you have the cubic mode, which will generate like cubes. And you have the flat, with there is no wave, it's just a flat surface. And then, well, the ideal, my preference is the wave mode, because you could see like the stuff in waves. And it's going to make them higher or lower, depending on how high you want. And then the same thing with the range. I want to see every 2 meter or every 1 meter. And then the opacity is to see more transparent or more opaque. And then the grid, yeah. So that's the wave. So now I'm going to switch to focus on high signal. And here it's telling me, show me signals higher than neg 40. Obviously, I don't have something higher than neg 40, so I don't see anything. So I'm going to reduce that to the minimum, which is anything higher than neg 100. Now I see everything. And now I could play again with the waves, make them higher or lower. And yeah, I didn't show the grid. Well, you turn off the grid, it will show. Now I'm going to show you the survey interpolation. So let's say you went on.
Jamal?
Yeah.
There's just a question. The one is, can you directly input building CAD files?
In mobile, no, you can't. You'll have to do it on the PC.
Okay. And
or you convert the CAD file into image or PDF.
Right. So you could import it into the PC, and then eventually, one thing we're working on is the ability to export heat map from the PC into your mobile, so you could get that prediction view in AR as well. I'm just going to pause there and actually send out a poll to get some feedback on whether or not that feature is valuable. So I'm just going to publish a poll, and everyone could take just a few seconds to give us your feedback on if doing the prediction heat maps in AR would be valuable to you. And then Jamal, another question here. Can you display signal levels for the different color waves?
Yes, this is what we're going to see here with the survey interpolation.
Okay. And one question. can you import files from Ekahau and then use AR in iBwave? And I can answer that one. No, there's no integration between our two softwares.
We can do it from AirMagnet, but not from Ekahau.
That's right.
This is iBwave mobile Wi-Fi. Yeah.
Okay.
You have other questions?
No. Well, one actually is, can you display signal levels for the different colorways?
Yeah. So I'm going to show that right away. And so I see other question about, well, the CAD one, this example that I'm going to show right now about the survey data interpolation, this floor plan was imported via CAD on the PC. So on the desktop version, you import the card, you do your modeling and stuff like that. Then you could save it on the cloud or on Unity, download it on the mobile app, and it's ready. And you see the design here, the access point with a different channel assignment. And then I use the mobile app to walk. You see all the points here where I was walking. And then I have my survey data, right? So yes. The question about can you view the design in AR before the install, this is what we were showing before, right? So you do a high-level design, or you do actually a design on the PC, and then you run the prediction, and then you show it in AR before anything is installed. So that's the heat map. The heat map is prediction. Technically nothing. It could be run, and you could visualize the heat map when nothing is actually installed. So now, okay. So if I go to the survey data, we'll go back to the question again, but let me show you what the survey data interpolation looks like, and then it will answer most of your question. So when I do a survey, right, and I captured a lot of data, and you see a lot of points here, and here I am showing 5 gigahertz, right, and I am filtering by SSID. It's our SSID at iBwave, and then I run the interpolation. So that heat map is generated from the survey itself. And I could do some filtering, and let's say I want to see channel 64, which is this AP only. And why I did that is because here you could see different colors, right? Instead of seeing like a homogeneous coverage where you have everything hot, now we see that this AP is covering this area, and then when you go away, then you get weaker coverage. And this is what I wanted to show in AR. So then if I go to the AR mode and launch the output map, it will ask me to calibrate. And this time, we will try to do the calibration with a more accurate one, with the 2 measurement. It will ask you to scan the room as the first step. So you'll have to point your camera and then turn 36 degrees. And then you see this yellow bar. Once it's completed, then you can click on next. And then you would need to define 2 points. So you have to go on 2 corners. Well, before that, you need to lock in on your floor and then go on 2 corners. So you measure your first corner. So you have to go on a location where you have a corner. Let's say in this hallway, I have a corner here. So I go on that location, and I put my tablet or my phone like next to that corner, and then I hit on the plus sign here, and it will ask me I am left side, middle side, or right side. So by default it's middle side, and then I click again on the second point. So I need to move and go to the second point. So I am on this corner, click middle side, and now it's tracking me. So I am moving, and it's following me on the floor plan. Then I click on the heat map, and now you see the different colors. So this hopefully answered the question. And you would see that I have weak coverage here, and I have good coverage there. But what I could do is actually make it more transparent, so I could see through, remove the grid. Now you see that there is no more grid. Now I'm going to focus on high values, and I want to see everything higher than whatever, maximum, so, or minimum value. So I could play with that and only see good coverage, or I could see everything, and you see it's like different colors, right? And I could also play with the amplitude. So the higher level will go higher in the amplitude, so I could focus really on the good coverage. And you see in this area, it's really weak coverage from this access point. And I know this access point on this area because I could see the coverage there, and the heat map is more hot color. So let's pause for a second and take a few more questions. Okay, so Kelly, you want to take it, or can I answer the questions?
I've been answering some as we go. Have you imported walls in it, and how does it take wall loss? So
yes, so this is the mobile app. We haven't imported any walls. We define an RF environment that has some loss values based on the RF environment. So it will do free space path loss plus any loss based on the RF environment. The walls are imported in the desktop version, not in the mobile version, because of Android is limited in terms of power and resources. You can't really do that. But in the desktop version, we could take that offline if you want, and we can explain to you how accurate is our wall loss. And they have different values based on the frequency and the reflection loss, refraction loss, diffraction loss. So we have all the RF parameters for a ray tracing algorithm. So that's a different topic.
One question: can you bring the heat map down to the floor?
So this is the heat map is based on the height of the prediction. Usually the height of the prediction by default are like 1.5 meter or 4 feet or something. You would need to adjust that before running the heat map. So since the calculation is done as a certain height, every pixel at this height is calculated. What is the signal received at this height, at this actual XYZ coordinates? So then you switch to AR mode, it will show you at this height. If you want lower or higher, you would need to change the prediction height first.
Just some general feedback is there's a few people voting to put this for public safety. So Jamal, as the product owner, take note that there are some requests coming in for that as well.
Can you repeat that question?
Oh, it's not a question, more just a comment that there's some feedback here saying this would be quite useful for public safety. So just passing that on to you as the product owner. For future.
Well, technically, you would be able to load any heat map, regardless if it's Wi-Fi or not. Any RSSI heat map, basically. It's just for now we implement it for Wi-Fi. In the future, we could do it for, let's say, with Mobile Planner for other technologies. It is possible to do it right now. It's not yet implemented.
That's right. So again, like we're testing the waters with this. We're trying to capture if it's valuable, and if it is, then I think we would definitely look at adding it into our other products for cellular, for public safety. First, we want to capture, are we heading in the right direction, and should we continue along this path and make it available for all our technologies? On that note, I'm just going to release another poll. So we just looked at doing the survey information in AR. So same question as before, I just want to capture, is viewing that in AR valuable to you guys? If you could just take a couple seconds and give us our feedback on that. Great. And Jamal, just one follow-up question to the height configuration. Just to confirm, the height can be adjusted without rebuilding the file, correct?
Yes, you need to rerun the heat map, though. You need to rerun the prediction because the calculation has to be made again for the new height.
Yeah.
That's the only difference. And
can you define the walls in the PC prior to downloading to mobile?
Yes, that's exactly what we did in the example I just showed right now. The building or the floor was defined in PC, and then it was downloaded into a mobile. And the mobile cannot recognize the wall, so the heat map has to be generated in PC.
And then does it also show co-channel interference and SNR?
It is supposed to do all heat maps. Any heat maps you're showing on your floor plan, as soon as you switch to AR mode, you will load that heat map regardless what it is. So technically, yes.
Okay, and just one more question, and then we can move on to the next one. Can this AR technology be used for in-building navigation for walk testing where GPS is not available, or is that what you're showing us?
Yeah, unfortunately not at this stage. The AR module is kind of separate from the app itself. We need to link the survey capability with the AR capabilities, and this is not this hasn't been implemented yet. Has not been implemented yet. We will hopefully in future release include that, because yes, the AR is capable of auto locating you. And we just need to add the survey on top of it.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next feature.
Any other question? No? Oh, you said let's go to the other feature, right? Okay, locating equipment in AR. You had the option to actually click on it from the app itself, or you could select that option. So if I go to my app, I have the auto navigate here that will locate. There is no heat map here. It's just navigating through a floor plan and locating equipment. Let's say there is an access point inside the ceiling. I want to track a cable or find the equipment room. This is what is helpful and what is used for. So if I go to the video here and I go to locating equipment, I am on the floor plan. And I could switch from RF map to navigation. Now I see the equipment, I see the cabling, I see the switch, and I can walk and it will follow me. So here I click on one of the equipment, and this was, let's say, the design, and now I'm going there and validating that the equipment was actually installed as it was supposed to be. So I see the cabling is going in the hallway inside the ceiling. Is the cable, and I could track it down where it's going, and I could see the other cables where they are going. It may give you the impression that the height is not correct, but technically it should be inside the ceiling. Then I follow. You see the little map on the bottom right corner, and it show you where are you. And then you see that the AP was supposed to install here, but it was installed like just right like 1 meter maybe away, a few feet. And so you could actually validate the installation and find where are they, and if they are installed as designed or not. And you could also click on different components in this. Let's say I'm on the map and I want to locate another access point. Let's say this one on the top left corner. So I click on it and it will highlight it with a different color. I could select up to 5 components. So the second one is showing in orange, yellowish, and you see it's kind of showing me it's on my right. So I take the next turn on the right, and now I could see that it's behind this wall. So I'm walking, and I could find actually that access point somewhere here, and it is actually installed right where it's supposed to be on the design. And I can see from where the cable is supposed to go based on what was designed. So that was the auto location functionality. Let's go and see if there are other questions.
I don't see any other questions here, but there was a couple questions submitted with the registration form. And one of them is, are you looking at doing the actual design in augmented reality with the different parts and components? And yeah.
So we do have this possibility to actually design in augmented reality. I think you showed that, Kelly, in one of your lectures.
Yeah, so what we can see is that this is definitely one of the use cases that we're looking at, and we have somewhat of a prototype working for this, and that's potentially something we can release in the future. The challenge with that, as I'm sure you can imagine, is getting all of the thousands of parts that we have in our database actually 3D modeled to fit into the AR world. But if this is a use case that would be very valuable to our customers, then it's absolutely something we could look at. We'd be willing to look at a little further. So I'd be curious to get feedback on that possibility. So yeah. Let's see here. Can the cable color be customized to differentiate between cable 1, cable 2, for instance, red cable to red AP, blue cable to blue AP?
Oh, good question. In your design, you can do that. I'm not sure. Well, technically, it should show in the AR because the AR is taking the information from the design. I haven't tried that, but I am assuming it should do it.
Great. Is there any more questions or comments, or what do you guys think? Is this valuable? And actually, I'm going to bring up my poll here just to get your feedback on that last one. In terms of locating equipment, is this a valuable feature, or would it be valuable to you? If you just take a couple seconds to give us feedback on that. And feel free to ask any more questions here, if you have them. And then, yeah, okay, so that really concludes the webinar. We hope you guys enjoyed it. You know, this has been a fun project for us at iBwave to work on, a new innovative kind of using technology. It's always exciting to see what's possible and what we can do for our customers to make their lives easier. So we want to offer you guys all a free trial to try the AR features if you would like to. Again, I'll remind you that they are beta features. They're probably not perfect. We suggest you try to use an Android device, one of the newer ones that have AR core support is probably your best shot. So I'm actually going to send out a link to everybody now that'll get you a free trial. You should see that pop up. If you go there, I put the link on the slide here, and also we're going to send out an email with the recording, and that will also include a link for you in that email as well if you don't want to do it right now. Okay, and I'm just going to put out one last poll if you guys don't mind, just to get your overall feedback. Is AR valuable, and do you want to see it in other iBwave products for those of you that are with us that are iBwave customers? So if you could just take a couple seconds and give us your feedback on that, and then we can take it back to the product and development team and see what we can do about releasing to other products if it makes sense. Overall, if I look at the poll results, I would say that it seems that AR seems at least pretty valuable. A lot of yeses and maybe sometimes not a lot of no, not really, which means, Jamal, I think we're heading in the right direction, and that's really nice to hear. So, great. Oh, one last question, Jamal. Does the AR registration work for large buildings like shopping malls, or does it have to be adjusted from time to time?
It should work anywhere. It's just the only problem with AR is the AR core is defined to work on an environment with good lighting and where you could actually detect the floor. If I saw, I think, one question about the tunnel. If the tunnel has good lighting environment and you could detect the floor, then it would work. If it's in let's say a dark environment, not enough lights, it might not work. So that's the only problem. Yeah.
There's one question here I just want to answer. What is the list price to add AR mode? And there is no price. Right now it's free for all of our Wi-Fi mobile customers. It's included, and that's because it's really beta right now. We don't feel like we're in a position to charge for it. We really just want to know if it's valuable, if we should continue to work on it, refine the features, and add more. So at this point, we're not charging for it at all. We're really just trying to get feedback on it. And will it be available on iOS? So we currently don't support iOS for mobile apps. So right now it's just any Android device. And I think that's it. So a big thanks to everybody for coming and participating and having conversation and giving us your feedback. We really appreciate it. And hopefully we'll see you at our next webinar. Thanks very much.
Thank you, guys. I hope you enjoyed.